it is time for our weekly theme park news update. And boy, do we have a lot of news this week. Because the rumored Knott's Berry Farm Giga might not be dead yet. And Montezuma's Revenge may never reopen again. We're going to be covering all of this and a whole lot more in this week's theme park news update. So let's dive in. Years ago, when we had all of the rumors that Knott's Berry Farm was going to be adding a brand new Giga coaster to their coaster lineup. Now, that seemed almost impossible, and Knott's ended up shooting that idea down pretty quickly, and it unfortunately was never built. But recently, with some more rumors surfacing that Knott's Berry Farm was indeed going to build a Giga coaster, Knott's Berry Farm decided that they had to respond to these Giga coaster rumors. And they said that Knott's Berry Farm currently has no plans in the near future to build a Giga or a hypercoaster. Near future. He didn't completely shoot down the idea of a Giga or a hypercoaster coming to Knott's Berry Farm. He just said, not in the near future. Which leads me to believe that Knott's Berry Farm really has been actively seeking a Giga or a hypercoaster. It has just not come to fruition yet. Now, I would not expect this coming very soon if it does come at all, because the city of Winter Park said that Knott's Berry Farm has not submitted any plans for a Giga or a hypercoaster yet, and they would have to submit the plans like a year or two before one would actually come to the park. So, is Knott's Berry Farm getting a Giga coaster? I'm gonna say not in the next 10 years, but I'm thinking maybe 2035. Now, this is just a wild guess. Maybe 2035. Knott's Berry Farm might just pull the trigger and get a Giga coaster. But that's just my speculation, and I highly doubt that. So I guess we'll have to wait and find out for ourselves. Sticking with Knott's Berry Farm, it appears Montezuma's Revenge may never reopen again, even though it was supposed to be refurbished and reopen later. In Cedar Fair's earning call, there was a section titled, quote, "The loss on impairment, retirement of fixed assets for both periods included retirements of assets in the normal course of business, including a specific terminated project at Knott's Berry Farm in the current year." This leads me to believe that Cedar Fair is ditching the Montezuma refurbishment entirely and just scrapping the plan. Now, this is unfortunate because Knott's is losing out on a new coaster. I mean, not new, but you get the idea. And they haven't specifically confirmed it. It could just be them compensating for the lost money from it, but I would say it's probably safe to assume that Montezuma's Revenge will never reopen again, which is definitely unfortunate. But I would just keep a lookout to see if Knott's Berry Farm releases an official statement about this, and I assume it would probably be in the coming weeks. For our final major story of the week, unfortunately, Lisaberg's brand new water park that was set to open in 2024 caught fire and was completely destroyed. The fire was believed to be caused by a, quote, fire gas explosion, and Lisaberg is uncertain about the future of this project. And I'm definitely worried that this project is going to get scrapped entirely. Unfortunately, 12 people were injured in the fire, and one construction worker unfortunately died. And this is really unfortunate for everyone involved. And I sincerely hope that an accident on this level never occurs again. This week, we're going to try something different. We're now going to do a rapid fire round. We're going to go through some of the week's smaller stories. We're not going to go super in depth, but we're just going to keep you updated on some like construction updates and all that sort of good stuff. Starting with Kentucky Kingdom. Kentucky Kingdom confirmed that 2 new movies will be coming to their 5D cinema. They have already announced what one of the movies will be, but they have yet to announce the second one. Busch Gardens Tampa has also increased parking prices, which is not good. You will now have to pay $32 for general parking and $47 for preferred parking. This is quite a lot of money, and I honestly don't think that they should be charging over $30 for regular parking. And yes, I understand you have to pay to maintain the parking lot and all of that stuff, but still, like, $32 for normal parking? I honestly think that's a little bit excessive. And I don't know, maybe we'll get lucky and they'll bring the price down, but I would highly doubt that. I must say, this is a bit of a new one. Due to a strong gust of wind, a tree unfortunately blew onto a roller coaster at Port Aventura. That roller coaster was Tomahawk, their family wooden coaster. The coaster was in operation, and unfortunately 14 riders appeared to have sustained injuries. But everyone will recover and be just fine, but I have to say, this is definitely not something you see every day. Dollywood is going to be adding even more days to their operating calendar this year, similar to what they did last year in 2023. They're including 23 more days than they had last year. And compared to 2022, 2024 will have 44 more days. This is honestly super exciting because it means you get to experience Dollywood at more times throughout the year and a lot easier. And I think some parks need to be taking those from Dollywood, because adding more operating days means more money. Kings Island, I'm looking at you. Come on, at least open for spring break. No, probably not. Okay, moving on. It was worth a shot. TA Express at Everland will be getting retracked by RMC using their new 208 retrack. TA Express was an Intamin prefab wooden coaster, and Everland is choosing to go with RMC to make this apparently a hybrid coaster. I'd like to see what will happen to this new coaster, and will it run smoother, and all that stuff. And I think we should all keep an eye out to see if this RMC retrack is successful. And we might see it put on some other coasters if it does well, especially other Intamin prefabs like El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. And finally, to cap off this week's theme park news update, it appears that we have a proposal for a new indoor water park in Maine. Now, I don't believe there are many theme parks in Maine, but I guess a water park would be much appreciated to the coaster enthusiasts of Maine, because a water park's better than nothing. The city has not approved it, and they're taking a look to see if it will all work out and all that good stuff. And if it is approved by the city, then it will be built in Saco, Maine. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I hope I did. This project would also include a hotel, and an on-site restaurant, and all that good stuff. I feel like this should get approved by the city, more tourist money, it's just the indoor water park, so I would expect this to start being under construction in the coming months. And if you like water parks and live in Maine, then this is very good news for you. And finally, for our real last theme park news update of the week, we have some updates on the new theme park that should be coming to Oklahoma in 2026. That's right, I'm talking about American Heartland. We have a few new updates on when it should open and where they actually want to build this thing. It appears that they want to build this, quote, near the town of Veneta, Oklahoma. And it is set to open by 2026. Now, knowing how construction, and how theme park construction especially, goes, I would expect it probably will get delayed until 2027. Or maybe if we're lucky, they can get it open by mid to late 2026. But I honestly kind of doubt that. Hopefully they do get it done on time, and I guess we'll have to wait and see how American Heartland does. So I'm honestly really excited for what this park could bring to Oklahoma. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a like and hit that subscribe button, because it helps out the channel a lot and it is a great way to say thank you. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.